All right, so we've talked a lot about different kinds of percents. We've talked about finding percent of a number. We've done percent increases. We've done markups. We've done markdowns. We're going to take all of that and we're going to put it together. So we're going to apply the percent. Now, different ways to look at percents. If you think about a percent as a bar, if this is 100%, then this is full price. So let's say something is 20 bucks. This is full price. Okay, let's say that I have a 5% tax. Tax is a markup that makes the price go up. So one way I can think about this is 100% of 20 is 20. I can easily get this to 10%. So if I think about this as 10%, I divide by 10 to get to 10. If I divide 20 by 10, I get 2. Now from 10%, so I divide by 10. Make a note, divide by 10. So to get from here to there, we divide by 10. Now, I need 5%, so that's half of 10. So right here, this is 5%. And if I go from here to here, that's half of it. So to get from here to here, I half it. So this is $1. That's a mental math way to think about it. Anytime I go to the store and I see something that's 5% or 15%, I find 10 and 5, and then you add those together. So 5% tax would be $1. Okay, this is one way to look at it. So then I would take full price plus the dollar. So 20 plus the $1 tax is $21. That's your final price. Another way to look at this is if I took this 5% piece and I added it to the end. So if I moved it, find a better color. No, we're using green. Look. If I take this chunk and I add it to the end of the percent, and I make this 105%, because this is 5% tax that I'm adding to the original price, then this would represent $21. Because I've added the 5%, which I know is 1, and so 20 plus 1 is 21. 105% of the price is $21. This is all kind of a mental math kind of idea. Okay? Another way to look at it is a proportion. So if you do proportionality, you have, make sure I'm on the right line, you have part over the total price, part over whole, equals 5% over 100. That's one way. This is 1, because we already figured that out up here. And then I add that back. Oop, not 5, sorry. 20 plus 1 is 21. This is the way we've kind of been doing things. Find 5% and then you add it back. Another way to think about it is, again, if I'm adding 5% to the price, then I'm no longer paying 100%. I want to pay 105%. So if I did, let me do a squiggle, keep them separate. If I did x over 20, I need to find 105%. So $20 is the full price. Whatever my numerator is going to tell me this 105% piece, which is after I added tax. So this would equal 21. When I do the math, cross multiply and divide, that's going to give me 21. So this is kind of a one-stop shop, so you don't have to do the adding piece. Okay? So that's one way. That's another way. So we've got the mental math way, ish. We have our proportionality way. 1, find the tax and add. 2, just jump right in. Know that it's 105%, and that's going to be your final price. Another way, this is just all the percents all the time. Here we go. Last one. When I do this, 20 times 5 divided by 100, you're basically ending up doing 20 times 0.05. Because 5 hundredths is 0.05. This is the percent as a decimal. Finding that 5% as a decimal. When I multiply, I get 1. I'm just going to tell you, it's 1. That's my tax. So then I can do 20 plus the 1 equals 21. This is another way to find 5%. Take your percent, make it a decimal, and then find your tax as a dollar, plus 20 is 21. It's another way. Last way, and then I'm done. Again with the 105%. If you're adding 5%, you have 105%. So if I wanted to find 105% of $20, this is just 105%, 5% as a decimal, 105% as a decimal. This would tell me $21. Either way is fine. I want you to pick a way that makes sense to you. If you like the proportion and it keeps it organized for you, keep doing the proportion. If you're somebody who really gets the mental math and this is making sense to you, try and do it this way. If you want to skip the cross multiply divide and just jump right into this piece, then do it that way. I want you to pick one that's comfortable for you. Now, on top of all of this, we need to talk about interest. So, I equals PRT. This is the PERT formula. PERT formula. When I put money in the bank, I earn money. Sort of. So the interest is the money earned. Interest is money earned. I stands for interest. This is money earned. P stands for principal. Principal. This is money. It's either deposited or borrowed. So if I'm borrowing money, money deposited, because you don't earn interest. We'll talk about that later. R is your interest rate. Rate as a decimal. So like how we changed percents to decimals here, percent to decimal. This is your rate as a decimal. And then T is time. This is important. It's time in years. Time in years. So from your worksheet, let me put this up. Right here, this is my principal, this is my rate, this is my time. So I'm going to take 300 times 0.03 times 4. So let's do that. 300 times 0.03 times 4. 300.03, that's 009, 2 decimals, and then times 4 is 36. So what this is saying is that after 4 years, he earned $36. Then you take this amount and add it back to the principal, because now in the bank he has $336. We need to figure out which number is missing here. So when you're solving, you'll do, for that one, I know the principal is 450. I do not know the rate, but I do know time. And I know that this equaled my interest is $67.50. It's an ugly 5. $67.50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the two numbers I know. It's going to be 0, 12, 13, R, don't forget the R, equals 67.50. And then we're going to divide by 1350. Divide by 1350. 50. So 67.50 divided by 1,350. That's a point. It's okay. We want a decimal. So if you're panicking because you feel like this is going to be small, that's okay. It's supposed to be small. This is 0.03. So I'm going to say it can't go in here, here, here. That's going to be 0.05. So that's going to be 0. Oh, look, perfect. Wait. Perfect. So my rate is 0.05, which as a percent is 5%. So right here is 5%. And so then my new balance, I add these two together. This one plus this one goes here. Now, you should be able to do all of this now. Commission is just money made. At the bottom, we're finding percents of numbers. So she makes $3,000. All of this equals 3,000. So you're going to do percent proportions, or you're going to multiply. In fact, use one of these methods to solve for these. And I believe that's it.